The professionals who thrive in the next decade will not be the ones who feared AI. They're going to be the ones who got curious about it all at the beginning, right up front, at first. And if you've been sitting with that quiet anxiety, wondering whether your skills matter, whether your job is safe, and whether you're already falling behind, we have got the answers you are looking for.
Is there reason to have fear around job loss? Yes, I think that's a very rational fear, and I think that's okay that people are fearing AI right now. Happy people don't change, and I need more people to change and adopt this technology. Women have a 16 percentage point more likelihood to be automated out of a job by AI. So this to me is the disconnect that we have to solve for. I think AI is the elevator of our time. Before the elevator was created, we only built about 5 to 6 story buildings. When the elevator came, architecture changed and we thought, oh my God, we can now build skyscrapers. My concern is people are getting really excited with AI to stay within that first 5 stories and say, oh my God, we can move from floor 1 to floor 5 so fast. How great is this? No, I want women in particular building skyscrapers. The one thing that will make you irreplaceable is maintain human connection and maintain your humanity in this moment. How do you become a wise leader, a wise worker? And how do you have ethical judgment? How do you actually continue to engage in deep empathy as you're working with people? That is something, if you want to future-proof your career, is the one thing that AI will never be able to replace.
Welcome to In Confidence, where what we share in confidence helps us grow in confidence. This season is all about problems and solutions. We launched a survey and you all told us which problems you'd like us to solve. Well, today's problem is I'm worried that AI is going to replace me or my job is at risk. And this is a very real feeling because AI is taking over every conversation. A lot of it is excitement, but more than anything, I read a lot about panic. Suddenly, everything we've built or everything we're good at, maybe could those things be done by a machine? I'm not alone in feeling a little bit anxious about what that means, but here's what I've come to understand. The fear, as real as it is, might be what's standing between us and progress. So I've invited back onto the show Dr. Kelly Monahan, my dear friend. She came on the first episode on AI to come talk about the benefits of it and how we could tap into it. And now we're going to talk about exactly what's happening at the intersection of people and technology, especially in the workplace. Dr. Kelly Monahan is a future of work researcher, a TEDx speaker, and the founder of Beyond the Desk. She has led future of work research at Meta, Upwork, has been published in the Harvard Business Review and MIT and Sloan Management Review, and she's advised some of the world's most influential companies on what work actually looks like next. I can't imagine a better person to talk about, should we be afraid of AI? And she's here at GRAVITAS in person in our New York City studio. Welcome to the show, Kelly. Kelly, welcome back to In Confidence.
Oh my God, thank you for having me.
It's like 2 times.
I love it.
We're going to get engaged at the 3rd time. Today, well, first of all, just remind our audience who you are, because you've already done a great episode with us on how to use AI.
Yes.
But can you just give us the quick flyover?
Yes, flyover. Think of me as a former HR leader, ready to change the world, develop leaders, realized that was really impossible in corporate America, went and got my PhD, and have been researching for the last 15 years. How do we stay ahead of all this technology that keeps disrupting us?
I love that. So you are our expert all things in terms of the workplace, but in specifically the disruption we're feeling
Yes,
now.
100%.
Okay, well, then this is an appropriate one because this season's all about solving problems.
Love it.
We surveyed our LinkedIn audience about what problems they wanted us to solve. And of the 16 problems they identified, today's is, I'm worried AI is going to replace me and my job. And so you're my phone a friend.
All right,
I couldn't
let's do
imagine
it.
a better person. Let's start off with this fear is really real, widespread. What does the research say about AI and job displacement?
So the research is very nuanced right now. And so let me give you a quick summary. Is there reason to have fear around job loss? Yes, I think that's a very rational fear. And I think that's okay that people are fearing AI right now. Happy people don't change, and I need more people to change and adopt this technology. But I think the technology itself has been overhyped. Anthropic just released a whole research paper on this recently that shows the delta between what AI can do and the job displacement that we're actually seeing. The good news is there's very little evidence that jobs are being lost to AI today. But there is evidence in the future that may be the projection if we don't figure out how to reimagine work and that humans don't stay upskilled in this way.
So I'm curious because like in my head, I'm like, we're going to lose jobs, or, Gen Z, there's no place they're going to be able to work in the future. I was a consultant. I'm like, all the things I did as a BA, as a business analyst, I feel like AI could do. Like, I'm trying to reconcile that fear with the reality.
So the reality is it's not just AI that I think is causing this fear. We're living in profound times. So the level of what economists call economic shocks, you would expect 3 to 5 over the course of your lifetime. We have seen 7 in the last 24 months. So if you're exhausted, you're tired, no one wants to talk about the pandemic, but the pandemic turned things upside down. And oh, by the way, we have this game changer technology that you now need to go learn, or else all the headlines show you'll lose your job. I think that's the psyche that many of us are actually operating and living within. And there's truth to some of that, but I think there's so much more complexity that's actually guiding the fear than just AI. It's AI and Gen Z is demanding a new way to work, and we're in a really bad job market right now. And oh, by the way, we just went to war with Iran, and we have to navigate that, and then we might have a looming oil crisis. It is just one compounding complexity on another.
Okay, yeah. Someone, I said to someone the other day, I was like, well, we've lived through Watergate, Enron. Like, there's things. He's like, yeah, but this is like 10 Watergates. This is like 10 Enrons. Like, I was like, oh, okay, you're right. It's just all of it.
All of it at the same time.
Okay. So it's not just AI.
It's not
AI is
just
getting
AI.
the brunt of the fear.
AI is a scapegoat. Like, there is no evidence in the labor markets right now that AI is being as disruptive as any sort of news outlet would like you to believe. And or let's also be honest, you know who's driving these fear-based headlines? The companies creating the technology. So Anthropic, OpenAI, Elon Musk, these are the leaders that are out there saying that there's going to be this huge, massive displacement. They need that and want that to be true because right now they are not making money off of AI.
Got it. One of my advisors said to me that like OpenAI is bleeding cash, that they are, so that's part of it too.
There's yes, that right now it's not a profitable business. I mean, Amazon took over a decade to really become profitable. We know there's like a pathway towards profitability over time. But the second thing that I'm just shocked that more people aren't talking about, AI takes a lot of energy. And that is a finite resource that we have. And so there's also decisions that are being made at the energy level of how do we think about supplying enough energy and water to these data centers that are required to make AI even better than it is today.
So where do we go from this? So I love that you described there's like 7 shocks.
Yes.
Not just one or 2 or 3. And AI is the scapegoat in all of this. Like, how do I think about how work will evolve in this landscape?
Well, the number one thing that I say to people right now is don't sit on the sidelines. Don't wait for AI to become a problem. AI is not necessarily a problem today. No one has a crystal ball. I don't know what the next development of AI is going to look like. Could it be a problem for your career in the next 12 months, 18 months? Absolutely. There is that risk. And so to stay ahead of that, fear is driven by uncertainty. When we're uncertain about what a tool or AI is, what it can do. So the best way to get through that fear is to start using AI today. Start figuring out, I know we talked about this in your last episode, of like, what are the business problems? What are the friction points in your job? You start redesigning your job today. Don't wait for AI to have that happen to you.
And I read this great piece where Jensen Huang at NVIDIA talked about, in 2016, there was a fear that AI was going to eliminate radiologists, that like AI can look at an X-ray better than a human, give you the diagnosis. And in fact, the reverse has happened 10 years later, that we need radiologists more than ever. There's actually a shortage of them.
Yes.
But AI throughput is higher than ever when it comes to reading scans. Like, how is that the shift? Like, we still need humans?
I hope so. So that's what I would describe as a pro-worker AI shift, meaning that AI is actually working on behalf of the worker, making them better at their job. They can read more scans. They become more knowledgeable. The fear and risk is we start outsourcing some of that critical judgment and expertise to AI, and we just become the paper pusher of that throughput and not actually retaining that expertise. So I think as radiologists, I think it's a great example because they still have to retain that expertise, diagnose alongside of AI, but they still have to be the final judgment call of what's actually showing on the scan alongside, obviously, a doctor. A couple other examples that I would give where I don't think AI is going to be as disruptive in terms of job loss as many are projecting. One is pilots. We don't really need pilots anymore. We can have an airplane. There's enough AI out there and technology, an airplane can be on pilot
Like a
mode.
Waymo? Like a Waymo?
Exactly.
For
Driverless car. Yes.
I'm not getting on a plane that's been
Correct.
Waymo'd. Okay.
But that's what I'm saying is there's so many other factors that go into it where we've decided, you know what, there's still too much nuance and takeoff and landing. That cannot be automated. That has to remain a human skill set. And that's what we've decided. Think about retail checkout. Everything could be a self-checkout if we wanted to, but oftentimes grocery stores, retailers have said, no, that's our competitive advantage. We're going to still have a human at that touch point. So we retain that. So I'm optimistic that even though AI could be doing a lot more than it is, as a society, and because we're customers and everything else, we may choose not to because we want a human to still do that job.
Does that put a higher burden on the workplace to almost re-emphasize human skills and critical thinking? Let me go back to the radiology example, because what I loved about it was they said, look, the AI component of this can make scans faster and give you that first diagnosis. We still need a radiologist to put it in clinical context, to have the conversation with the primary physician around what this means in terms of their care, to have legal sign off, right? No AI machine can legally sign off on a scan. Yes. And so AI's just made it more likely we can use these diagnostic tools more than ever. Like medical imaging has gone up, so diagnoses are getting better. But we still need someone with clinical context. What that says to me is, I still need to train on bedside manner. I still need to train on collegiality. I still need to train on communication skills. Those can't be lost because I got the output of the machine, I handed it over to you.
1,000%. And I think this is what concerns me is we have actually devalued and de-emphasized those skills like maybe the last 10 years in corporate America. We have gone, think about like MBA programs. You learn how to manage a P&L, you learn how to control resources, you learn probably, no offense, but some micromanagement techniques of how to make sure people are, are behaving the way that you want. And we did not teach the psychology of people at work. We did not teach people how to learn at work. We have told people how to be efficient and how to do a task. And now we're saying, great, we have AI. I want you to be creative. Go be innovative. Go be empathetic. But we actually haven't taught any of those things to our leaders and our people in over a decade.
Okay, so it's not that AI will replace me. It's that AI is forcing me to build a new skill set or beef up a set of skills.
Absolutely. And here's the problem. It's the messiest part about work.
I know.
Human relating. I mean, that's almost where, and sometimes I think this is why we haven't maybe leaned in as much as we need to, is because this is the hard part about work. There is no great playbook for here's how you manage a diverse team. And here's what you do when all this government pressure is coming in and now we can no longer talk about DEI. Like, what does that look like? But this is what humans are meant to be doing right now in solving these sort of problems and having these sort of conversations. And I think we need people courageous enough to start actually leaning into this.
Okay. My next book is on trust. And what's interesting, the neuroscience piece of this, we've been interviewing a lot of neuroscientists. And obviously, the data is clear around trust-based organizations outperform everyone, right? The speed at which they can work, the fluency of their communications with each other. And one of the neuroscientists told us that a lot of the dose hormones that are related to trust can only be generated either with physical interactions, real conversations, not over email. And it was kind of surprising to me that they're like, you can't get dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, or endorphins from a machine, from an email, from a text message.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why during the pandemic, the Zoom happy hours it fell flat. Like we were going through the motions. We were also having a drink in our hand. We were all trying to interact, but something was broken about that experience. And I think your neuroscientists have, hit the nail on the head. It's because we were not getting that same chemical reaction and dopamine release of being able to connect with one another. Right now, I don't think human connection is irreplaceable. Okay. And the only way to do that is in person. Now, we can continue to build that trust over time and use these great technologies that we have. But the reality is technology is not going to help us human connect.
Okay. Shout out to Dr. Helena Bosky, who's also one of our Speakers Bureau
Love
speakers. It was funny because I said to her, well, obviously you're wearing our shirt from our International Women's Day campaign. And I said, well, we've never met in person. We've only met over Teams meetings. Like, why would you trust me? She said, you sent me a blouse with a card. And she said there was something physical because she was telling me you can't get oxytocin unless you shake someone's hand.
Sure.
physically interact with them. So she said, handwritten notes matter.
Yeah.
You sent me a blouse. So already my trust battery slightly filled up, even though I live in London, you live in New York.
Totally.
And that she's the neuroscientist that
Yeah.
was like, you can only generate those hormones with touch.
Yes.
It's like, wow.
I couldn't agree. And I think that's like the conversation we need to be figuring out is, again, just because AI can do something, should it? And at what cost are we choosing speed, convenience, and efficiency? I think at the cost of human relating and human connection. Those things take time. They take money. I mean, you're writing the book on trust. Like, you know how much that can't just happen instantaneously.
Yeah.
And yet we're like, no, we're so addicted to convenience and quick answers. And that's what I worry AI could be misused for.
Okay. So what is the difference between kind of, let's assume I am, let's call it mid-level management.
Okay. Oh, tough spot to be at.
At a Fortune 500 company.
Okay.
And, let's put Gen Zers and incoming job market to the side. And we are implementing a enterprise level AI integration across most processes.
Okay.
What do you want me to do to not feel threatened by this?
Ooh, great question. First of all, as the middle manager, just shout out. I've always said, like, that's the lifeblood of an organization. So you're doing the Lord's work there. Number one thing I want you to be thinking about is the human consequences of every time AI is going to be put into your workflow.
Okay.
What does that take away from someone? Does that take away someone's identity or meaning in their job? Like, has someone really done the task this way for 30 years? We see that a lot in like our legacy organizations. So one, what is that? Like, again, think of the human consequence, name it, raise it. You still may decide and say, you know what? I'm sorry, Nancy, but this is going to be, AI is going to do this job and it's going to do it better. And it just makes good sense. We're going to pivot and rethink your job. But I just see so many people getting so addicted of like, AI can do it, let's do it, with no regard to the human consequence that someone has been doing that task and job. So let's not devalue that and bring dignity to that. The second thing is, I want to also make sure that you're thinking about what is the business problem you're solving for. Like, we're slapping on AI in a lot of places, as we've done with other technologies in the past. But this one has tremendous consequences. 1 + 1 does not always equal 2 with AI, especially generative AI. So again, the question is, where are you comfortable having a 10 to 12% hallucination rate? Where in your workflow process? Not in a lot of areas. Like, I'm okay, with emails, calendar, some basic workflows. But the example you gave last time, I'm not okay with it writing my book. Like, that is going to be something that I do because I don't trust it. And I think so number one is raising human consequences. Number two, though, is where do you really want to offload trust in that process? Those are the two things people aren't asking about.
Yeah, because I was, there was I'm putting my old consulting background on, and I was like, well, AI could do procurement.
Sure.
And then I was thinking, but then you still want someone to be like, this vendor's easy to work with. And there's another person on the phone that I can call if something goes wrong with this vendor, and they will answer on the other side. So if these bids are equal, AI might say, they're equal, just choose one, or this one's better in cost or whatnot. You might say, but the other one, the people are nicer to work with.
Right. She sent me a blouse. I actually want to establish this relationship with Lisa because this is a great vendor that I want it. And you don't have any of that.
Yeah.
And I think the third thing that I like working right now with executive leaders on is principles. No one has principles of adoption. And I think that is something we need to really kind of go back to the drawing board of what are our principles of integrating AI at the enterprise level. Again, like, we're going to always be human task. Where are we going to say we're playing chess, not checkers with this? That long-term relationship matters. And I got to get on the phone to understand who Lisa is, that she has a dog. These sort of things you're not going to know if we're just automating the whole
And those
process.
aren't going to go away. Like, I feel like if you're at the senior level, if we move it from mid-level to senior level, that's the bigger conversation you're having is why are we using AI?
Correct. Because I'll be honest with you, 40% of executives today don't even know what AI looks like in their organization, what skill sets they have. And so that means they're flying pretty blind without a true strategy, values, and principles to guide what I'm going to argue may be the most transformative technology we've seen in our lifetime.
You mentioned earlier before we turned on the cameras about a gender difference.
Oh, yes.
Can you talk about this gender difference?
Lisa, this is really, this makes me want to flip tables. So a couple of stats for your audience. Right now, when you think about AI jobs, only 22% of those have women representation. It's like you're talking about like less than 1 in 4. So this is a very male-dominated.
What's an AI job?
So think about software engineers, the people building AI.
Okay.
The people who actually are kind of dictating our future in a way. Only 22% of those positions are filled by females.
Okay.
But yet, Anthropic just came out with this report last week. women have a 16 percentage point more likelihood to be automated out of a job by AI. So this to me is the disconnect that we have to solve for. And I need women to get excited about AI. I need them to learn about AI. I want them to like start building their own AI, because I worry we've always been underrepresented in the technology field and sector, but this is inexcusable. Like, we've caught up from a STEM education perspective. There's just as many women, if not a little bit more women, graduating with STEM education, but it's not showing up in the places we need it to when it comes to AI deployment and development.
Okay, that is a rallying cry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
like
like
that.
really, like, we got to
no
talk about it.
apologies necessary. That isn't I didn't know that.
Yes, it's devastating. And like, when you start thinking about these tools and how they interact, and that there's, of course, they're going to promote our human biases, we're at grave risk that, again, just because it's just dominated by one gender, we may be missing some pretty obvious biases that are popping up, right? I mean, men and women perceive the world differently. And you know, that bestie or whoever you're interacting with at ChatGPT is very male-driven behind the scenes in terms of its parameters.
And you remind me, it's just a machine.
It's just a machine, which is why we have to talk about it as just a machine.
Well, no, and it's interesting. I watched that piece with the Anthropic president, who is a woman,
Yes.
And I think they're putting her out front and center, actually, to demystify it, because I feel like a woman's face at the front of it may make us more excited or likely to use it.
Yes, and I just want to double down on this, because the pandemic did women a disservice. We lost a lot of women in the workforce during the pandemic who did not return, mostly because of child caring responsibilities and caregiving responsibilities. And so my concern is we're seeing a downward trend in women at CEO positions, board members, and now we have AI feeling that. And I think this is where we've got to really get this moment right, because we need women back in the workforce in leadership positions, really knowledgeable about AI.
So if you were to give me almost like a Reader's Digest, like a from to, in terms of my mindset now versus my mindset in the future, can you give me a few from tos that you want everyone to walk away with?
Yes. What I hear a lot, especially from women, is I'm too busy to learn this. I've got too much on my plate right now. Like, first of all, yes, that is all true. But I need you to move that to, I'm going to devote 15 to 30 minutes every day for myself. And by doing that, I'm going to learn AI, and I'm going to stay on top of this. So I'm going to move from too busy to AI as a priority.
I'm going to flex this muscle. I'm going to pick up that 2-pound barbell
2 pounds every day, 15 minutes.
And then get to 5 pounds, and then get to a 10-pound barbell.
And before you know it, they'll be building AI agents in probably less than 3 to 4 months. So again, that's like...
don't be afraid of it. Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Okay.
I think the second thing is... move from what's the right word I'm looking for? From like a very like complacent mindset of like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be disruptive, or I'm just kind of in this fear-based mindset, to do something about it. Move to action.
Okay.
Like, we have to start acting now. This has been around, this version of, generative AI, since November 2022. It's time to get focused.
Going from a flip phone to a BlackBerry to an iPhone.
Let's
just
acknowledge it's time.
I never thought my mother would make it to an iPhone, but she's there now.
I love it.
She's there, candy crushing away. Okay, got it. Just embrace it. It's happening.
And then finally, I would say we need to move from like, I want to do the same thing faster or more efficient, which I see a lot of the use cases, to I actually want to do something different. So here's the mindset difference I want the audience to have. This is my analogy I'm using right now. I think AI is the elevator of our time. And here's why. Before the elevator was created, in 1880s, we only built about 5 to 6 story buildings. We didn't really imagine going any higher. When the elevator came, architecture changed, and we thought, oh my God, we can now build skyscrapers. I mean, look outside New York City here. I mean, it's a marvel, but it's because of the elevator that allowed us to do this. My concern is people are getting really excited with AI to stay within that first 5 stories and say, oh my God, we can move from floor 1 to floor 5 so fast. How great is this? No, I want women in particular building skyscrapers, actually reimagining, how can I think of a problem different? How can I reframe my role and my job? So I'm not just moving faster between the 5 floors, but I'm actually working now and building a skyscraper.
I love that. And I'm freeing up time to do something I might be more passionate about, or where I can spend more. I'm going to start using that, by the way.
Okay, please.
Because oftentimes I think about, I'll just write this email faster if I use AI to do it. And I'm not thinking about, if it writes it faster, I've gained 20 minutes back. How will I use those 20 minutes?
Yes, Lisa, that to me is the true unlock here.
Oh, okay. That's a big one.
It is.
That's a big one.
Don't fill it with like TikTok videos and another Netflix episode.
Bridgerton. I can finish that episode of Bridgerton. I fell asleep in.
There is too much going on right now. We've got to get disciplined and focused. And women, we have to own this moment.
Okay. All right. Well, if I think about, again, I turn off this episode and I think, here's the one thing I'm going to do to make myself AI proof or irreplaceable. What's the one thing that's going to make me irreplaceable today?
The one thing that will make you irreplaceable is maintain human connection and maintain your humanity in this moment. Double down. Like, the one thing we don't talk enough about is wisdom. Like, how do you become a wise leader, a wise worker, wise within your organization? How do you have ethical judgment? How do you actually continue to engage in deep empathy as you're working with people? That is something, if you want to future-proof your career, is the one thing that AI will never be able to replace.
Okay, so I always do this thing where I'm like, people are bad at asking for, giving, and receiving feedback.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have like one question I always tell younger people to do is just, what's one thing I could do better? So maybe you save the time and you go find someone more senior to do.
Yes.
And you say, what's one thing I could do better today?
I love
How
that.
did you think about this 20 years ago?
Yes.
Maybe you use that time to build a relationship, to get a mentor, to develop your career.
100%. Like, that is the best thing that you can be doing right now.
Okay. Kelly, I always learn so much when
my
you're
God.
here. Thank you for coming and solving this
you.
problem.
Oh, I so appreciate it. Thank you, Lisa.
Yay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I love the analogy that AI is the elevator and our obligation is to figure out how to build skyscrapers. It's definitely a different take than what I've heard. And a lot of things are working against us, not just AI. So today, in terms of a power move, a gravitas takeaway from this episode, here's the one I want to give you. Reset your mindset. Think about how much additional time you will have by having AI help you write that email. Maybe that's the time you need to go pitch your idea to your boss or negotiate your salary or make an innovation or work on your side hustle. AI cannot replace human connection. And so let's use that time that we freed up from doing tasks to connect with others, ask for feedback, work on that new innovative project. Before we close out, I want to give my gravitas shout out again to Dr. Kelly Monahan. And specifically, when we think about this shout out, it's all about ownership deserves to be named, growth deserves to be seen, and the people doing the work deserve to be celebrated. So Kelly is certainly leading with gravitas. And what I want to do is a little different with this shout out. If you wait until the end of this episode, so after we do the closing, after the jingle, we have a teaser that Kelly has given us about her new book. She describes the 3 parts of her book. I think of like when you're watching a Marvel movie, if you get to the end of the credits, you get to see that last ending scene. We're giving you, as part of our gravitas shout out, an ending scene where Kelly describes her book. And it's Succession, the TV show Succession meets Brene Brown. So listen all the way to the end of the episode to hear a little bit more about Kelly's book. I hope you love this episode of In Confidence. I hope you're leaving this space, if not stronger, smarter about the future of work. If you love this episode, like, comment, review, because all of that recognition makes us feel good, amplifies our work so others see it, and definitely makes you feel good. And if someone in your life needs to hear this episode today, please forward it on to them. Until next time, in the words of my 9-year-old self, I see you, I value you, and I believe in you. This is In Confidence. All right, Kelly, you have a new book coming out.
Lisa, I'm so excited about it.
It's so good. You sent me an advance copy and I kept turning page. It was like, it is a novel. So Can you tell folks about the name of the book? What's it about? Why is it different?
Yes. So the book is called Reclaim the Plot: How Leaders Rewrite the Story as AI Rewrites Work. And here's the thing. I want people to think about this. It's almost as if it's an episode of Succession meets like a Brene Brown organizational diagnosis. And so to your point, I'm a researcher and I love data, but I don't think people need data right now. I don't think that's getting through to actually changing the hearts and souls of our leaders. And so this is why I want to lean on storytelling and really creating a story based on my 20 plus years of corporate America and describing the pain points that leaders go through and all the pressure that they're under today, and have empathy in many ways for these leaders who make decisions that have devastating consequences for their workforce, but to help translate and build that gap between why leaders behave the way they do and the consequences the workforce feels.
And it's propulsive. It's an actual story.
Yes.
Name the company that you're following.
So I've created this company called Driftwell. Mm-hmm. Driftwell.
Great name, by the way.
I mean, listen, it goes into 3 acts. So act 1 is the drift, and how the CEO and the CFO and the poor CHRO, James, who I just like adore, and I've seen James in almost every organization, who has a seat at the table, but he has no voice, and just gets railroaded by the private equity firm that's
the shareholder value conversations.
The shareholder value. And so it's just, we see at the top where the drift starts to occur, where business used to be about how do we create customer value? How do we create prosperity in our communities? To all of a sudden, we're all about short-term shareholder wealth maximization, and that drift has consequences. Act 2 then goes into delirium. I think leaders today are acting delirious when it comes to Gen Z, AI, all the complexity that's before them. And so that's where we begin to see decisions that really have negative human consequences. And again, these leaders are well-intended. They're trying to do the right thing. I think of Priya. She's at Davos having this great moment to talk about AI.
Yeah, this
and
is the CEO. Yeah,
and bombs. And so it's these moments that I have observed in my own career over and over again. I'm like, these are patterns. It doesn't matter if I'm at a big organization, I'm at a small organization. These are the things that happen. And then Act 3 ends on the dream, which is a true alternate what if scenario week. What if things were just remotely different in small ways? What if the CEO just slightly changed her mind on this one thing? What if the ego was suspended for a minute and someone else behaved this way? And that's what that Act 3 really begins to explore.
It's really cool because you use real characters. It is like watching a TV show and then you do the diagnosis afterwards, which I love. Like, you're like, here's what you should have taken away from the scene. Here's how to think about it. Questions to ask. You have a lot of that, which I love.
Because I want it to be reflective. Like, I don't want to just, people are so done being talked at about this. And it's like, listen, I get it. The world feels on fire. Leadership has never been harder. Let's understand and break this down. I want you to have a character. I want you to identify one of the characters in the story and say either I am that person or I work for that person.
All right. Well, everyone should go pre-order it now wherever books are sold, right? We'll throw a pre-order link up on the site.
That would be wonderful.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
All right.
And thank you for letting me read it.
Oh my God. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it.